Job 22:2. Can a man be profitable to God? You may thereby be profitable to your fellow creatures, yet not so much as to yourselves. The fruit which you bring forth to God will be a greater benefit to yourselves than to anyone living. You will be more useful to yourselves than to anyone else. Although you are under a natural obligation to bring forth fruit to God, yet God doth not require it of you without a reward. He will richly reward you for it. In requiring you to bring forth fruit to Him, He doth but require you to bring forth fruit to your own happiness. You will taste the sweetness of your own fruit. It will be most profitable for you in this world to bring forth fruit to God. It will be exceedingly to your benefit while here. It will be pleasant to you to lead a fruitful and holy life. The pleasure will be beyond the labour. Besides this, God hath promised to such a life everlasting rewards, unspeakable infinite benefits, so that by it you will infinitely advance your own interest. 3. If you remain thus unprofitable, and be not actively useful, surely God will obtain his end of you, in your destruction. He will say concerning the barren tree, Cut it down, why cumbereth it the ground? Christ in John 15:6 tells us, If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. This is spoken of the barren branches in the vine. How would you yourselves do in such a case with a barren tree in an orchard, or with weeds and tares in your fields? Doubtless, it were in your power, you would utterly destroy them. God will have his end, he will accomplish it. Though all men and devils unite their endeavours, they cannot frustrate God in anything. And though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. Proverbs 11:1. God hath sworn by his great name that he will have his glory of men, whether they will actively glorify him or no. Numbers 14:21, 22, and 23. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men which have seen my glory, and my miracles which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it. The axe lieth at the root of the trees, and every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down, and cast into the fire. Matthew 3:10. The end of those men who bring forth nothing but briars and thorns is to be burned. As in Hebrews 6:7 and 8. For the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs meet for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessing from God. But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. So we read of the tares. Matthew 8:30. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather you together first the tares, and bind them into bundles to burn them. And in verses 40, 41, and 42, As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. So it is said of the chaff, Matthew 3:12, whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor, gather his wheat into the garner, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. If you continue not to bring forth any fruit to the divine glory, as you have hitherto done, hell will be the only fit place for you. It is a place prepared on purpose to be a receptacle of such persons. In hell nature ceases to labour any more for sinners. The sun doth not run his course to shine upon them. The earth doth not bring forth her fruit to be consumed upon them there. There they will have no opportunity to consume the fruits of divine goodness on their lusts. In hell they can prejudice or encumber nothing upon which God sets any value. There the faithful servants and ministers of God will no longer spend their strength in vain upon them. When the barren tree is in the fire, the servants of the husbandman are freed from any further labour or toil in digging about and manuring it. In hell they will no more have opportunity to clog and discourage the flourishing of religion, and to destroy much good, as they often do in this world. In hell they will no more have opportunity to corrupt others by their ill example. In hell they will no more have it in their power to offend the godly. They may hurt and torment one another, but the godly will be out of their reach. In hell there will be no ordinances, no Sabbaths, no sacraments, no sacred things, for them to profane and defile by their careless and hypocritical attendance. Hell, therefore, if you remain unfruitful and cumbers of the ground, will be the fittest place for you, and there you will surely have your portion assigned you. There God will get himself honour upon you. There he will magnify himself in your ruin, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and will be praised upon that account by the saints at the day of judgment, and by all the host of heaven throughout everlasting ages.